Hey guys, this is Shane from Pocket Knife Review. I just want to do this video today because being in the lives a lot, I still see a lot of questions about sharpening. I'm by no means a professional sharpener. I do sharpen and maintain my own knives. I'm really proud of the edges that I get. I wanted to kind of go over how I got there, where I started. Um, I started out like a lot of people did with this thing right here. Um, this is about, I think I paid $30 for this. It's a Work Sharp field sharpener. It's got a coarse and a fine diamond plate. It's got a leather strop. It's got the ceramic rod. The thing about this particular sharpener is it has these ramps that are preset at 20 degrees, and that works. I mean, you could sharpen every knife you want at 20 degrees. Some of you already know. I get a little crazy with my degrees sometimes. I nearly ruined a Kaiser Roach by putting a 12 degree edge on it. I love it. It has not rolled yet, but as you can see, the slurry from the sharpening ruined the coating. But anyway, this is a great sharpener. You could buy this sharpener. It'd be the only sharpener you ever own. Um, all your edges are going to be at 20 degrees if that's the case. These plates are replaceable. You don't have to buy a whole new sharpener. However, for what the sharpener costs, what difference does it make? Um, and then I decided I wanted something that I could adjust some angles on. So I graduated from this to this. This is just your basic Lansky sharpening system. I started out like most people do with the uh, Arkansas stone rods, and those worked fine because at that point in time in my collection, I was sharpening things like this. This is a HCR 13 MOV blade. Um, I'll be honest, it's one of the better HCR 13 MOVs I've ever experienced, and this knife cut me worse than anything I've ever had cut me, and it did it mounting it into this system. Be careful. If you use one of these, you'll learn pretty quickly upon following the directions that you're supposed to. They even mention using your fingernail to tighten the screw. So in other words, they're not wanting you to torque on the screw a lot. They just want you to run the screw down till it contacts the blade and then tighten this to get a good secure clamp onto the blade. That has never worked for me for some reason. I always end up going back with a screwdriver and torquing down this screw. If I don't, the blade ends up moving in the sharpener. Anyway, this is still a great sharpener. Once again, you could buy this sharpener and it'd be all you ever need. However, I do recommend right off the bat to go ahead and get the Diamond series. You're going to pay a little more for it. The reason you want these diamonds, though, is because eventually your knife collecting or your knife hobby is going to evolve from these HCR 13, OS 8, OS 10, you name it. There's plenty of budget steels out there. We can go over the whole list. But as you progress up from that, you start getting into, just some better steels, some good steels, all the way into some super steels. You start getting in at S90Vs and crew wares and M4, things like that. You are going to need diamond. It can be done without diamond, but the amount of time that you're going to spend doing it is probably going to result in a poor edge because you're either going to switch tones too quick or you're going to give up. Anyway, so I do recommend going with the diamond. And let me tell you something great about this setup. A lot of people have moved on from the Lansky Diamond setup, gone on to bigger and better things, whether it be the Work Sharp Precision Adjust or the KME or the TS Prop, the Wicked Edge, whatever it is that you've advanced to. I'll keep this, and let me tell you why. This knife has just a slight recurve to it. There are knives out there that have massive recurves to them. And from my experience, this little narrow diamond rod does a great job on those recurves. I know they make sharpening supplies for recurves that are rounded. I've never had a problem sharpening a recurve with my Lansky, and it's because that diamond strip is so narrow. However, because it's so narrow, it's going to wear out faster than some other systems. So I progressed from this to this. I bought this upon Jared Neve's recommendation. This is the Work Sharp Precision Angle Sharpening System. And man, was I impressed. I really like this thing. As far as the actual sharpening stones, they are diamond, and they are about the same size as the Lansky. And a lot like the Lansky. Actually, I'll take that back. I think these wear out faster than the Lansky. That's been my experience. They did a great job. The longer you use them, the less aggressive they become. This is the 600 grit on mine right now, and this is a slick piece of metal. There's no diamond left on this. And I knew that was going to happen, and I was okay with it. But about the time that this wore out, something else happened. Jared Neve introduced us to some upgrades such as this. This can be bought on Gritomatic. It's made out of aluminum. It's a quality tool. I know they have some that are 3D printed and made out of plastic. I like this one because it's nice and sturdy. Great thing about this is that you can take your Work Sharp precision sharpener, slide this right off the end of the rod after removing the low O-rings, of course, and slide this on. Once you put this on, now you can go online and start spending your hard-earned money on things like this. This is a Vanive Dog series stone. This has 2 different grits. Now, I didn't know anything about Vanive when I ordered this. I didn't know anything about their grit rating. When it said 150, 400, I thought I was getting 150 grit and a 400 grit. Man, was I wrong. Come to find out, the 150 grit on here, I think, grit rate, or the 150 on here, I think grit rating is somewhere around 240, I believe it is. I'd have to check the chart. But that 400 micron is about a 1200 grit rating. So that's a pretty big jump. What I've been really surprised with, though, is how well it works. I have sharpened dozens of knives going straight from the 150 micron to the 400 micron. And, you know, any professional sharpener tell you that's a bad idea because, you know, when you go from making this scratch pattern and then trying to refine it with, you know, something this far off, this far away from, you know, 240 grit to 1200 grit, it's going to take you forever. But from what I found, it does not. You can see all the metal buildup on that. I need to clean these before I can use them again, but we'll get into that later. But there is something about these stones that I haven't heard anybody talk about, and I don't know. I think it's maybe because none of us truly know yet. Vanive don't do it like Lansky does. Lansky takes a piece of metal and they simply, for lack of a better term, they glue some diamond dust on it. And that diamond dust wears off, and you end up with what I showed you, with just a slick piece of metal, and there's nothing left. It doesn't sharpen anymore. Vanive does it differently. This is a metal plate, and on top of that plate, they embed some type of epoxy that has the diamond dust embedded in it. Now, the diamonds do a great job. You know, this thing removes plenty of metal plenty fast, but I noticed something peculiar when I use it. There's something about this epoxy. I don't know what it is that's binding these diamonds together, but it seems to polish the edge at the same time that it's sharpening. What I mean by that is a 1200 grit finish on a Vanive, from my experience, is a near perfect mirror polish. I mean, I can read in it, I can see myself in it. You can go all over the internet and people will call you stupid that 1200 grit's not a mirrored edge. What I'm getting at is, I think there's something in this epoxy, something in this resin added with the diamonds, that as the diamonds are removing material, it is also polishing that blade. So, you know, the great thing about this setup is that there are so many of these 4-inch plates that you can buy. This is also a Vanive, but this is a very, very aggressive 140 grit. This is only to be used, or I only use it when I'm laying back the edge, changing the angle, because this thing, you can hear it. It sounds like you're dragging your knife across a cinder block. It is chewing the steel away. Even super hard, super steels like this, it literally makes short work of. It really, really removes some metal. So be careful with that. You know, when you're using it, you don't want to go too far. You don't want to overwork the steel. But and I know a lot of guys are thinking, and I've already seen it. Yeah, you bought a $50 sharpening system, which is what this was, about 50 bucks. Cute story behind this. The first one I bought, I actually bought and had it shipped to Jared Neve, and he gave it away on his live, thinking that I would just turn around and buy myself another one. It took me 3 months to get it. But anyway, they're right. This is a $50 system. I could have bought a KME. Everybody says you could have bought a KME for $200. Then you wouldn't have had to spend the $30 on that rod holder, you know, $50 on this, $40 on this, and whatever stones I buy in the future are only going to add to the cost of this setup. What they're not telling you is that what you get when you buy a $200 KME system is not as good as this. You do get a better frame. You get a better made precision adjust system, but the stones and the sharpening material that comes with them, you're going to want to upgrade those too. So what are you going to end up with investment wise on a KME? It's going to go up, guys. You're going to spend, you know, hundreds of dollars upgrading your KME, just like you're going to spend hundreds of dollars upgrading this, depending on how versatile you want to make the system. As of right now, and the edges that I'm looking for, I'm happy. I've got what I need. I feel like I am going to buy the new factory replacement, just because I don't have a 600 grit. I found so far that I don't need it. I've been stopping on a lot of my knives with this 240. When I want to tooth the edge, I just stop here. And like I said, I don't believe it's a 240 grit edge. There's something in this epoxy that is polishing it a little past that, and I'm perfectly happy with it. So, like I said, I don't have to buy many more sharpening supplies for this until I wear them out, but I'm probably gonna, because, you know, just like knives, we're never content. We want the biggest and best, the next biggest and best thing, and that's part of this addiction and part of the fun of it, in my opinion. But I just wanted to go over that and give you guys some ideas, you know, as you're getting into knives, you know, regardless of where you're at in that in your knife obsession, you know, whether you're still at the, you know, the CJRB, the $50 budget knife level, you can buy this $50 sharpening system with its, you know, with the stones that it comes with. Guys, that is all you will ever need. As you progress and start buying more expensive knives and better steels and things like that, this is really still all you need. It's all you need to make a sharp cutting tool. It will be your addiction that pushes you further and causes you to buy more things to make it better, because it's that instant feeling of accomplishment when you get done and you see that mirror sharp edge that you can shave a hair with. It's a great feeling. It's very therapeutic. Many of you already know what I'm talking about. It's not just a hobby for me. Like I said, it's therapy for me. There's nothing I love more than when I buy a knife. I've had guys ask me, do you want me to put an edge on it? And I tell them absolutely not. It's depressing to me to get a new knife and not need to sharpen it. I'd even mentioned to, I hate to keep bringing his name up, but I even mentioned to Jerry Neve at one point in time that I kind of wish some of these companies would offer an option, and I don't care that it would to save any money, but take Benchmade, for example. I would love to buy my Benchmades with the final bevel ground, but no edge. And the reason I say that is because I would rather put the edge on it myself. I would rather have the angle that I want and the grit finish that I want, or the polish that I want, without having it being put on a belt grinder to sharpen, because that's what they have to do to turn out fives fast enough to make a profit. And that belt grinder is going to create heat, and it's gonna burn the edge, guys. There's no way around it. It's been proven time and time again that these belt grinders burn the edge. Fine example was this VDK Vesta that I bought. That I literally removed 2 millimeters of edge, and it was just crumbling off. There was literally potholes, just chunks of the edge falling out, because the steel was so overheated and stressed, and it wasn't usable as a knife. It wasn't usable as a cutting tool. So like I said, I'd love to see them just come out, sell them to me dull. I'd much rather have that and put the edge on it myself. I know a lot of people would hate that, but if it was an option, that would be great for me. But like I said, guys, no matter where you start off at, the one thing I would recommend doing is I would buy a diamond. When I bought my Lansky system, I bought it with just the regular Arkansas stones. And like I said, it did a fine job when I was buying nothing but budget knives. And but these diamonds will sharpen your budget knives even faster. They will sharpen your high-end steels. They'll do all that you need to do. And like I said, for $30, you've got a sharpener that you can use for the rest of your life. Yeah, you're going to have to replace the plates occasionally, but it's really all you need. The word need it's useless in the knife community almost. We have far surpassed what we need and gotten into what we want and what makes us happy. And that's great. The only scary part to me is getting into what everybody else is telling us that we need. The hype in the knife community is just like the hype in the pew community, the fishing lure community, you name it. There's hype there, and it's making a lot of money for a lot of companies. And if it's making you happy, then so be it. Do it. But the one thing you need to keep in mind is you probably don't need it. There are things out there that will do the same job for a lot less money. They just won't make you as happy about buying them. Anyway, guys, just spend your money smart, and sharpen your own knives. Learn how to sharpen your own knives. Start out with something economical. The Civivis, they're anything in 14C 28N is great to learn on. That's a great steel. If you check the edge retention charts, man, 14C 28N outperforms a lot of what you guys are calling super steels. We're talking about real world, not the hype. But it's easy to sharpen. It takes a great edge. It takes a toothy edge. It takes a polished edge. Just a great steel. So that's all I had for you guys today. I appreciate your time. Peace. And I love you guys.